What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG Pocket video. And today's a super exciting day. We got official confirmation of the new expansion, the new booster pack, Mythical Island, which you can see on the screen here. It officially releases next Tuesday, December 17th. So super excited about that. The meta has been pretty much solved for the most part at this point. It has been getting a little stale, playing against the same decks over and over again. So it is exciting that we are getting new cards and the meta is going to shake up. I'm going to be taking a look at all the revealed cards so far. They put out a trailer today, and this website, pokebeach.com, put these cards together for us to look at. So thank you to pokebeach.com. Not affiliated with them in any way. I just found this website and I liked how they laid out all the information. So this is it. Mythical Island theme booster pack. This is what the packs are gonna look like. You can see it says A1A in the top right, meaning it's still part of like the A1 set, I suppose, but it has that lowercase a indicating that it is a mini set, and it is featuring Mew on the cover of the pack here, which is really cool. I think this artwork looks really nice and I'm super excited. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. First off, we got Snivy here, which I believe is a Gen 5 starter. He's a grass type basic Pokemon, 70 HP for 1 grass energy, 1 colorless energy. He does Vine Whip for 40 damage, so pretty similar to Bulbasaur. I think it's the exact same stats as Bulbasaur, actually. He's weak to fire and has 1 retreat cost. Kind of hard to judge this card without looking at the other evolved versions, but we'll see how it goes. This will be another nice grass type Pokemon to play instead of Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur. I feel like grass type Pokemon are kind of lacking right now, so it will be nice to see another big grass type Pokemon in the game. Next up, we got Morlul. This is a basic Pokemon, 60 HP grass type for 1 grass energy, does ram for 20 damage. It's weak to fire, and then it has a 1 retreat cost. Again, this one's a little bit hard to judge as well without seeing the evolved form. It does have an evolved version, so not too much to say on this one, other than I hope the evolved form is really cool. And next up, we got the big one here. This is Mew EX, a new EX Pokemon. We did have Mew in the game already. It was a basic Mew, but it wasn't very good. It was just more about collecting that card. I don't really see a lot of people actually play it. It's more just for fun and the collectible aspect of it. But this Mew EX actually seems pretty cracked. So it's a Psychic type Pokemon, 130 HP. For 1 Psychic energy, it does Psyshot for 20 damage. And then for 3 colorless energy, it does genome hacking. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. So if this works in the way I think it works, meaning you can use this with just any energy, since technically this ability does require 3 just colorless energy. If you can just copy any attack, that's pretty nuts, right? Now, I'm thinking you can't copy, like, let's say a 4 energy attack, like let's say Venusaur's Mega Drain, right? I don't think you can copy that if it's 4 energy and then you have 3 energy on the Mew, but I don't think the energy type matters. So, like, let's say, for example, with Ditto, you need to match the energy of your opponent's Pokemon in order to copy their ability. But the way I'm thinking is this Mew can just copy any ability with just 3 energy or less, or maybe 3 energy or more. I'm not sure if it can copy abilities that have 4 or more energy, like let's say like Mewtwo EX's ability, right? But if it can still copy just attacks for 3 energy or less, I think that is really powerful. I think this card can be flexible in a lot of different ways. I mean, it's a Psychic type Pokemon, but the 3 colorless energy means you can fit this into any deck. So I'm excited to cook up some decks with this one. I'm excited to see what people play with this Mew EX because this looks to be like a really cool card. And then, of course, it does have a darkness weakness, and then it retreats for 1 as well, which is really nice. So a nice retreat cost there. This card is super interesting. I'm really excited about this one. Then we have a supporter card blue here. During your opponent's next turn, all of your Pokemon take -10 damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. This one's kind of interesting. I can see this one used in very like niche decks. Maybe you combine this with like a Melmetal deck and you're just taking -30 damage every turn and you're just trying to stay alive as long as possible. So this one can be used in several different decks. I don't know how good it's going to be. This may be one of those where we kind of have to see, like I have to use it to judge it for myself, but it is similar to Giovanni as well, right? Because Giovanni does 10 extra damage, but blue is negating 10 damage. So I don't know. This is an interesting one. I'm going to have to get my hands on it before I can have any further impressions on it. Then we have Vaporeon. This is a new Vaporeon. We already have another Vaporeon in the game, which attacks for 3 energy, 60 damage, and then heals for 30. This one has 120 HP. And it also attacks for 3 energy, 1 water, 2 colorless, and attacks for 60 damage. It doesn't heal, but it has an ability. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a water energy from one of your benched water Pokemon to your active water Pokemon. I think this card's going to be really annoying. This card is going to be really good in Misty decks. Because sometimes you're playing Misty, and sometimes you get a crazy high roll with Misty. Let's say you get like 7 heads in a row on a Pokemon that doesn't even need it, right? Like let's say like a Starmie. It only needs like 2 energy to attack, right? You're like thinking, well, I just have all this extra energy on this Starmie. Like I don't know what to do with it. Vaporeon can take that energy from your bench Pokemon and then move it to the active Pokemon. So I think this card is gonna be a menace. I think this card is gonna be nasty in some Misty decks, maybe like some Misty Articuno EX decks. Yeah, I think this card is gonna be nasty. And then we have Deden. I hope I'm saying that right. It's a basic Pokemon, lightning type, 60 HP. For 1 lightning energy, it does Thunder Shock for 10 damage. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. It's kind of just like Pincurchin, except it has 20 less HP. Wait, hold on. Does Pincurchin have 70 HP or 80 HP? So I had to go and look up Pincurchin because I forgot. I thought his health was 80, but it's actually 70. So I think this card is just a better version of Pincurchin. Like, yes, you're getting 10 less HP and you're getting 20 less damage, but you're attacking for 1 energy instead of 2, and you're also retreating for 1 energy instead of 2. And it's not like with the damage, like you're not attacking with Pincurchin or this card for the damage anyways. You're attacking for the chance to paralyze your opponent's Pokemon. So, in my opinion, I think this is just a better Pincurchin. I think this is gonna take that slot into Pikachu EX decks. Maybe you just slot this as a one of in some other lightning type decks just to try and get a cheap paralyze on your opponent's Pokemon, right? It's kind of similar to the promo Jigglypuff as well, because the promo Jigglypuff can put your opponent's Pokemon to sleep for 1 energy, and then this Pokemon has a chance to paralyze for 1 energy. So in my opinion, it's just a better Pincurchin. Next up, we got this Execute. Now, the art's a little scuffed on this one and the other ones from here on out because these are just kind of screenshotted from the trailer. But we got a new Execute. It is a basic Pokemon, 50 HP, grass type, for 1 colorless energy, does Growth Spurt. Take a grass energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. I think this is just a better version of the Execute we have now, because the Execute we have now, you don't really care for the 20 damage. Like, you just want to evolve into the Executor as fast as you possibly can and start doing damage with that. And then the main downside to Executor is that it has a high retreat cost of 3. So if you can play this Execute, get an extra energy, and then evolve into Executor, and then you can start energying like your other Pokemon, or you give it another energy so it can have energy to retreat. Yeah, I think this is just a better version of the Execute we have now. Next up, we got Delmise, which is a basic grass type Pokemon, 100 HP. It has Energy Whip for 20 damage, 1 grass energy. If this Pokemon has at least 3 extra grass energy attached, this attack does 70 more damage. So you need to have 4 grass energies on this Pokemon in order to do 90 damage. This could be good paired with Lilligant, since Lilligant does ramp a grass energy for you. This Pokemon is also weak to fire and has a retreat cost of 2. I don't know if I'll see this Pokemon used that much. I'll be interested in seeing what people cook up with this one. This one doesn't seem too good to me at first glance, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, and we got another EX Pokemon here. This one's pretty exciting. Aerodactyl EX. It's a Stage 1 evolution Pokemon, fighting type with 140 HP. It has an ability where your opponent can't play any Pokemon from their hand to evolve their active Pokemon. This is gonna be fun to play with. As someone who likes playing Gengar and denying people from playing supporter cards, being able to deny your opponent from evolving Pokemon is gonna be so fun. I think this card looks really cool. I think this card looks really fun to play with. And then it also has an attack for 1 fighting energy and 1 colorless energy, Land Crush for 80 damage. So for 2 energy, you're doing 80 damage. You have 140 HP. It's weak to lightning, which is good to note. And it has a 1 retreat cost, which is good as well. And then you're denying your opponent from evolving any Pokemon. And you know what? It doesn't even say that this Pokemon has to be in the active spot, right? So this is just a passive ability that this Pokemon could just be chilling on the bench and your opponent can't evolve any Pokemon. This card is going to be a menace, I think. I think this card is going to be a menace. I hope I pull 2 copies of this one because I absolutely want to try some decks out with this Pokemon. And now we got another fighting type Pokemon. Fighting type Pokemon, I think their stocks are rising in this expansion. We got a Marshadow, which is a basic Pokemon, fighting type, 80 HP. It has Revenge for 1 fighting energy, 1 colorless energy. It does 40 damage. But if any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, this attack does 60 more damage. So that is a total of 100 damage for 2 energy. Kind of similar to like Primeape, but I think this might even be better because it's a basic Pokemon. You don't need to find the evolved form for it. So let's say, for example, your opponent kills something and then you put in this Pokemon. This Pokemon is just attacking for 100 damage right off the bench, which is pretty nuts. And furthermore, this one-shots Pikachu EX because it can do 100 damage with its ability, and it's a fighting type, so it does 20 extra damage to a lightning type Pokemon, or specifically Pikachu EX. So it'll do 120 damage to Pikachu EX, one-shotting Pikachu EX. And then, of course, this Pokemon is weak to Psychic and has a 1 retreat cost. So this card looks insane. I'm super excited to play around with some fighting decks. I think the fighting type Pokemon in this game are super fun to play with. I think there's a lot of variety in fighting type decks that you can do. So this card looks insanely fun, and it just instantly counters Pikachu EX, which is really nice as well. Next up, we got a fire type Pokemon, Larvesta, fire type, 80 HP. For 1 fire energy, 1 colorless energy, does combustion for 30 damage, weak to water, and has a 2 retreat cost. This one's a little bit harder to judge since this is the basic version of the Pokemon. It does have an evolved version. We don't know what that looks like just yet, so can't say too much about this one other than I am excited to play with more fire type Pokemon since I feel like fire decks have gotten pretty much all the same. You know, they all kind of just run some combination of Moltres EX, Charizard EX, and Arcanine EX. Like that's really it, right? Like every fire deck kind of revolves around those Pokemon, or Blaine, I guess. But yeah, fire decks definitely need some more variety. And now we got another Magmar. This is actually pretty similar to the Magmar we have now. It's a basic Pokemon, fire type, 80 HP. For 2 fire energy, it does Fire Blast for 80 damage, but it discards 2 fire energy from this Pokemon, and then it's weak to water, and then has a retreat cost of 2. So this is essentially the same as the Magmar we have now, except the Magmar we have now attacks for 50 damage, and it doesn't discard 2 fire energy. Honestly, I'm not seeing the potential with this one. I think I would rather just play the Magmar we have now, attack for 50 damage, and not lose any energy. Because maybe discarding 1 energy, okay, that's not too bad, right? Discarding 1 energy, but discarding 2 energy, I think that feels pretty bad. Like just putting 2 energy, building this up, attacking for 80 or let's say 110 with Blaine, which is a lot, but then at that point, like you'd rather just play Ninetales, right? So in my opinion, I don't think this card is very good. I'd rather just play the Magmar we have now, but let me know what you guys think. And next up, we have Pikachu here, which we are only able to see a snippet of the card, but based on this information, it looks like this is what this Pikachu is going to be. It's a basic Pikachu, lightning type, 60 HP. For 1 lightning energy, it does Circle Circuit for 10 damage, and this attack does 10 damage for each of your benched lightning Pokemon, weak to fighting, and has a 1 retreat cost. So this essentially is just a baby version of Pikachu EX. I don't think this card is too good, to be honest. I mean, at max, you're doing 30 damage. I think this is just going to be like a filler basic card in Pikachu EX decks. Like maybe you get unlucky, you don't pull the Den, and you just put in this baby Pikachu instead. I would personally rather just play the Dead Den. I think the Paralyze is much more valuable than doing 30 damage. So I don't think this card is very good, but yeah, maybe it'll just be a filler card in some Pikachu EX decks. And now we got a new Tauros. This card is pretty exciting. I like this one. I actually like the Tauros we have now. I don't play it that often. I don't see a lot of other people play it that often. I see a lot of people run like Kangaskhan instead, or Jigglypuff, or Farfetch'd as like their basic normal type Pokemon. But I actually really like Tauros, and this one's actually kind of spicy. So this is a basic Pokemon, 100 HP normal type Pokemon. For 3 colorless energy, it does Fighting Tackle for 40 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX, this attack does 80 more damage. So that's a total of 120 damage. So this is essentially like the same as Machamp EX, which attacks for 120 damage for 3 energy. This can one-shot Pikachu EX. In combined with the Giovanni, this does 130 damage. It could one-shot a Zapdos EX. It could one-shot a Starmie EX. So this card is pretty nuts. The fact that it's a basic Pokemon and the fact that it attacks for colorless energy means that you can slot this like as a 1 or 2 of in any of your decks, just like as a good tech card, right? It is weak to fighting, and then it does have a 2 retreat cost, which I think is fair. I think this is a good, like, this is like a good balanced card in my opinion. Like, it's strong, but it's not too strong, right? Like, it has a decent amount of health. It does take 3 energy for it to attack. It does have a retreat cost of 2, so it's not perfect, but it's not bad either. This card's pretty spicy. I think we're gonna see a lot of people throw this in their decks just like as maybe like as a 1 of tech card, because there's so many EX Pokemon running around in the meta. I mean, unless you're specifically seeking out non-EX lobbies, pretty much every deck in Pokemon Pocket plays at least 1 EX Pokemon. So this card is definitely going to see some play, and I'm excited for this card. And last but not least, yep, you heard me right, Leaf not least, we got supporter card Leaf. During this turn, the retreat cost of your active Pokemon is 2 less. So this is essentially 2x speeds in 1, but it is a supporter card, so you can only play 1 of these per turn. This card, I think, is going to be very situational. It's going to be very dependent on which Pokemon you're playing. So maybe, like, this card will go good with the new Tauros, right? Because Tauros retreats for 2 energy. But if you're playing a lot of Pokemon that retreat for like 1 energy, I don't think this card is going to be very valuable. So it just kind of depends on what kind of Pokemon you're going to be running in your deck. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a very niche type of card, but I will be interested in seeing how we can cook up some decks with this one. And that's it. Those are all the cards that we know about so far. The rest are just some screenshots. We got some screenshots for the booster pack. We got a new little binder here, and then as well a new little display board, which looks really cool with the Snivy. And then we do get some more solo battle missions, which is really nice. I know some people really like the PvE missions. I like them myself, actually. It's nice to just take a break from PvP, you know, from all the sweaty grind, all the meta decks, you know, just kind of just casually play some PvE games, get some rewards while you're at it. Maybe just try out some new Pokemon or some new decks against the AI. So that's really cool. I love that they are also adding more PvE content. And that'll do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, shout out to PokeBeach.com for putting this information together. Let me know down in the comments below, what Pokemon are you most excited for? What decks are you going to build? I'm already thinking of some ideas of decks I could put together. I'm super hyped for this expansion, so let me know what you think. And we will see this expansion next Tuesday, the 17th. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you. See you in the next one. Later.